To follow up somewhat on Ouija, also House Speaker Johnson said today, I mean, he seemed to throw cold water on the Senate border negotiations when he said, I don't think now is the time for comprehensive immigration reform because we know how complicated that is. You can't do that quickly. How will the president receive that message today if Johnson says this is too complicated to do right now?
Making sure that we take care of our border is not too complicated. It's not. It's not. If people come together in good faith, as they've been doing in the Senate, we can get this done. We can get this done. And let's not forget, the president actually put forth a comprehensive immigration proposal almost 3 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. We had 3 years to work on something. If that was what the Speaker Johnson is concerned about, we had 3 years to work on it. And so, look, and if he was really concerned about it, then when these negotiations started before the holiday break, they would have stayed. They would have stayed and actually, tried to be part of the solution. Look, we want to have a bipartisan agreement. That's what we want. We want a bipartisan agreement because the president understands that's how we're going to fix the problem. That is it. And so, look, it's continuing. We're going to see what happens with the Senate negotiations. We're going to see where they land. Certainly not going to get ahead of that from here. But it is important. It is important to get this done. And the president's not going to stop from negotiating with the senators.
Just a quick one. Beyond the congressional leaders, who exactly is going to be in this meeting? How did the White House come up with this list? Why this group?
So, look, I can say, as you all know and been mentioning, Speaker Johnson will be there, Leaders Schumer, McConnell, and Jeffries, and the chairs and ranking members of the House and the Senate committees on armed services, foreign affairs, appropriations, and intelligence. So that's incredibly important as we're talking about Ukraine, obviously, and that part of our national security supplemental. And also from the White House, so you all know, the Chief of Staff, Jeff Zients, will be there, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Counselor Steve Ricchetti, Legislative Affairs Director Shawanta Goff, Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines, OMB Director Shalonda Young, and Principal Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner. Again, this is going to be about Ukraine. Some of this will be classified, we'll have classified content, and so that is why it's important for all of those folks to be in the room as we're having these conversations as a president.
I understand you're saying the meeting is about Ukraine. If and when the issue of border security comes up, which we know it will, and is expected to, what specific concessions is the president willing to make on the issue of border security?
So look, I'm not going to negotiate from here. I'm not. There's been negotiations happening as it relates to the border security in the Senate for some months now between Republicans and Democrats. We're going to let that process continue. We're going to let that doesn't stop. Those negotiations, those conversations is not going to stop because the president is meeting with congressional members today. Again, our focus today, the president's focus today is going to be about Ukraine and the importance of continuing to support Ukraine as they fight against tyranny, as they fight against President Putin's aggression. That's going to be the focus. And I said, the president is, he brings people together, obviously is willing to listen to what folks have to say, but that is the purpose, is Ukraine. And those negotiations on the Hill, on the Senate side, is going to continue.